Setup time. If you're fed up like me with having loads of setups on your thing, I've created one setup that beats them all. So this will go for every track, and I'll explain how. Let's jump straight into it. Here's my settings. So if you want to stop it at any time, then just pause it and copy them. I will put them in the description, and hopefully I'll add a download file for you as well. So, right. So the downforce is going to be the only thing you need to make a change on. And whatever the game sets the preset to, just change your setup and make it so it's 10-0, 20-10, 30-20, 40-30, and then the maximum downforce is obviously going to be 50-40. But what I would say is if it's Monaco, just do 50-50. And then obviously that's probably the only setting you might have to tweak a little bit. That and maybe a bit of tyre pressures, but ultimately I think the tyre pressures for race situations are perfect. So, right, let's test this. Right, we're going in for the test then. We're going to do one lap with the original dedicated setup for Spa. So let's see what time I can get. And then we're going to do 2 laps with my change setup, my universal setup, shall we say. And then I'm going to do another 2 laps with the dedicated Spa setup, because otherwise, as I get used to the track, that'll falsify the results. So this way, hopefully it'll give my setup, gives my setup a disadvantage, so we'll see how we do. Right, we're just starting my second lap on the universal setup then. So we lock up front, which is never going to help. But let's see how we do, shall we? I can feel it's a fairly safe setup, and it is a race setup as well, so don't expect to beat anyone on time trials with it. Alright, that's 2 laps done with my universal setup then. That was a 144.8, I think it was. Alright, final lap then. Let's see how we can compare to the universal setup. Just cut the corner there, but doesn't matter, we'll still get an idea. I think I did make a little bit of an error with my universal lap. this hasn't been the cleanest in this either, so I'm definitely getting braver as I get used to the track again. So fun riding around Spa, you can carry so much speed. If you've raced it in any other car, it's like racing a different track in the Formula 1. Well, that was a 144.9 then. Now, you could say but the reason why it was so close is because of a skill issue, but one's my universal setup, and one is just a setup dedicated to Spa. And we'll look over the times now then. Right, so let's look at the time, shall we? And my first lap, which was with the dedicated Spa setup, was a 147.8. Then, my first lap with my universal setup, I done a 145.8, so that was 2 seconds off. That's just getting used to the track, I guess. Then I done 144.8, obviously still getting used to it. And then I went back to the dedicated Spa setup for the final 2 laps. And I done a 144.7, so that's a tenth quicker for a dedicated setup. And I followed it up with a 144.9. Right, so I carried on with a few more laps, and I used my universal setup for 6, 7 and 8, and you could see my time was just getting slightly faster, and then I done a really good lap, and I thought I'll go back to the dedicated Spa setup. And actually, I didn't manage to beat my time with that, so perhaps I've made a dedicated Spa setup in my universal setup, or the universal setup is just that good. I don't know, but why don't you try it out, see how it does for you, and hopefully it'll be a good one. All there is left to say is see you in a few laps. Thanks for watching.